Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Sam Michie. I'm president and co-founder of a company called New Media Trader. Our flagship product is Social Bluebook. So that's typically the way that we introduce ourselves as the founders of Social Bluebook. So that's what you see here on the screen to the right and to the left. A lot of good looking people in the room. I'm sure there is on the live stream as well. So thank you and welcome, and thank you for being patient as well. So, I will admit openly that this is probably going to be a far less technical presentation and discussion than maybe what we've seen in the previous discussions and presentations and whatnot. But what I wanted to do is to introduce to you my company that I've been working on for the last couple of years, and that I wanted to talk about our experience with going through the process of the Regulation A+. We've been live for about a week now, so it's very exciting. We were jumping for joy when we finally got that SEC approval. It felt really good. But so the first thing I wanted to do, and Mark Hariety, if you're watching, Mark's our securities attorney. Mark, everybody can see on the slides our disclosure statement. We are live. There's a link right to our big, beautiful offering circular. So we're disclosing and doing all that properly. So Mark, that's for you, buddy. So let's talk about Social Bluebook. Who here understands and knows the world of social media influencers? Is that a term that anybody has come across here? Social media influencers? Cool. Awesome. So these are our people, the social media influencers. These are the people that we care about. These are the people that are passionate about helping. These are the people that want to create content on social media as a full-time job. And Social Bluebook's mission is to empower those type of people to be able to do just that. Oftentimes when people get big enough on social media, they start to get, say, thousands of followers on Instagram, they'll have brands and advertisers that reach out to them and they say, hey, so-and-so, I want to pay you $500 or $1,000 to post a picture, holding my product in your next Instagram photo. And the influencers, they say, $500, that sounds pretty good, but you know what? I actually don't know if that's a good deal or not. And so there really didn't exist, before Social Bluebook, any kind of a standard for measuring someone's social worth, right? So what we created with Social Bluebook was a tool and a platform for all of our creator friends, these social media influencers, to be able to log in with their Instagram, with their YouTube, with their Twitter, and actually have our platform analyze, the analytics, what's your overall reach, how much engagement do you get, from your audience in terms of likes, comments, retweets, all these different things. And we've got a patent pending formula that will actually spit out a suggested price back to them, and we'll say, if you get approached by a brand, here's what you should consider charging, okay? And so with that, we've actually, we launched that in May of 2015, and honestly, without spending a lot of marketing at all, spending a lot on marketing, we actually saw a substantial increase in the people that became aware of our offering and became, users of our platform. And the thing is, it's pretty unique, and it feels pretty nice to be able to have a customer base of all influential people, because if you find somebody that really likes your platform and they talk about it on Twitter, guess what? A lot of people can see it. And so, just fortunately enough, we've been able to have, quite a bit of organic, just word-of-mouth growth, which I think is, really the best kind of marketing that you can find. So that just gives you some introduction to Social Bluebook and our platform and what we're trying to do. But I kind of want to step through a little bit of our journey with the Regulation A+. I feel like we're all kind of a community here. I think, for the most part, we're all rooting for, the success of the Jobs Act, the success of Regulation A+. And I have to tell you that as soon as we found out about the Jobs Act and we found out what people were doing with this, we fell in love with the idea immediately. And so today I kind of want to walk through the journey and experience with you. We've only been live for a week. We're very open to feedback, and we want to make this a success, as I'm sure everybody in this room wants to see more and more success on this level. So I'll leave it at that, and I hope that we can have some kind of a discussion today. We'll do some Q&A at the end and things. but very open to hearing kind of the feedback from your guys' side. What I wanted to do is actually start out by playing you the video that we put together for the Reg A+. Would you guys like to see that? Awesome. Let's do it. Now, hopefully it plays. Yeah. I think, Darren, if you just click on the black screen there on the laptop, that should.
A YouTube creator was offered $10,000 to do a branding deal. The intern from this particular network who made him the offer accidentally sent him the entire deal. Guess how much it was for? $150,000.
Wait. What?
That's right. The creator would have received less than 10%. Hi, we're the founders of Social Bluebook. Now, you guys know all these different platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, there's a ton of them. But what you don't know is what's going on behind the scenes and how many of these creators are being taken advantage of. And that is exactly what we have set out to fix with your help. Casey and I, both being creators, we used to vent all the time, believe it or not, while we were fishing. Look at that. I just remember just us talking about like how we wish things were different.
As creators, we wanted to make social media our full-time job. And that's why we initially signed our channels to one of these networks. But what we found was we were not getting the transparency that we needed, and we were being limited by the manpower of these networks.
Right, and on top of it, they were taking giant portions of our Google AdSense, and we weren't getting anything in return. So I started thinking, what if we created software that empowered the creators so they could broker deals directly with advertisers? The first thing we would need to create is a blue book, Social Bluebook. I went to Sam. Sam was a friend of mine from one of the big networks. He was an executive at one, and I said to him, Sam, what are your thoughts on this idea?
Well, I remember the day well. You came to the condo and you pitched me the idea, and I would say that I was your first investor because I fell in love with it. Having been at the network where you and I got to know each other, we understood very clearly what the big issues were, and the creators didn't have an understanding of what they were worth. And so that was something that I could get on board with on day one. And knowing your background, Chad, knowing that you had experience in the traditional TV world, and you had a very successful production company, but I think more importantly, knowing that you were a YouTuber, right, that you understood and knew the community.
Here we are at FestTube 2008!
I just thought that was really key and something that I felt like was really needed.
Start again!
If we were going to build a company together that was really going to go out and solve these problems for content creators around the world, it needed to be founded and run and backed by content creators. And that's why we've opened up the opportunity and had a lot of content creators invest, and here's a few.
I invested in Social Bluebook because I've been a content creator for over 10 years, an influencer, YouTuber, you name it. But the one thing I've seen in that time done wrong over and over again is influencers and creators not knowing what they're worth. You're gonna have to get some gray hair. Yeah.
I have been a part of the Social Bluebook family since day one. What attracted me to Social Bluebook is it is run and supported by fellow creators, so I know that my needs are number one, the most important thing to them.
I've worked with many different companies as talent. 2 of those companies sold later, and of course that didn't benefit me. What's great is that Social Bluebook is giving talent an opportunity to have a piece of it.
Chocolate rain. Hi, this is Papa and Mama B from the AB family, and we just want to talk about why we invested in Social Bluebook. Once we heard about Social Bluebook, it really helped us determine the value of our videos. Thanks to Social Bluebook, we have made this a full-time business, and we can do everything that we've always dreamed of.
I invested in Social Bluebook for the platform, for the software. It's got a lot of smart individuals backing this company, and it's the wave of the future.
Everyone involved in Social Bluebook has shown that the entire operation is built on making creators happy. I first found out about Social Bluebook when my dad, Fran Solomita, became a part of it with Chad. So I just want to say I appreciate Social Bluebook and the entire team behind it. Thank you for what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Oh, can you not wait to see either?
I feel like it's a tool that helps creators figure out how much they are worth more than anything I have ever seen.
Hey, Apple, what?
Can you do this?
And you know what? I just got to say, it's about time that somebody was looking after the creators. So thank you, Social Bluebook.
I chose to invest in Social Bluebook because I know how powerful and important it is to know your worth. And I was excited to be a part of a company that was started by creators for creators.
I just want to say it was probably the smartest thing I could ever invest in, because
100%.
I feel like 10 years ago, this would have been an amazing, amazing tool. And now that it's here, I think it's so smart to be a part of it. So, ching! You guys can put a little thing on my tooth right now.
Here's what we're going to do, Chad. I'm serious. We're going to start this, and we are going to run it for YouTubers. But what YouTuber would not say, oh yeah, I don't want to be with all my friends and working together. We're going to keep this company running till it's the biggest media company in the world. We'll get everybody, Chad. We'll all run it because we figured out how to do it now. And we don't have, I'm excited.
Social Bluebook recently released its marketplace beta, which already has hundreds of advertisers using its tools to search creators and make them offers. Like the platforms Uber and Airbnb, Social Bluebook gets a small fee for each transaction it facilitates. And because it's software, unlike manpower, it's scalable, which requires a lot less overhead, allowing Social Bluebook to pass on the savings to both advertisers and creators. So with your help, here's what we want to do. We want to continue to build tools that empower the creators so they can run their own businesses.
We want creators to have transparency when working with advertisers.
And no creator should be forced to sign an exclusivity contract.
As creators, we should own our own ideas and content.
Please read our circular below, because it lists out all the risks associated with making an investment.
At a recent event, a YouTuber came up and hugged me and said, "Thank you for helping me make an extra $1,000 this month. I know we're doing the right thing. And if you guys believe in what we believe, come own Social Bluebook with us. Our success will be your success." Thank you very much. Invest in Social Bluebook today.
Okay, what'd you guys think? Pretty entertaining? Okay. I didn't see too many people leave, just one person, no. So, hopefully you were able to see a little bit of the passion that we have, for the content creator community. We really felt like it was hugely important that this was a company that, was founded by and also backed by content creators. That was hugely important to us. And so, honestly, when we found out about the Jobs Act and we found out that we could extend the opportunity for investment to the entire creator base, what you saw was some of our accredited investors who had, put money into the company. We wanted to open up the opportunity to the entire creator community. And that was really just kind of a dream of ours, even before we knew about the Jobs Act, even before we knew about Regulation A+. And so as soon as we heard about that, we knew that was something that we wanted to try and maximize and take advantage of. So we're very thrilled about that opportunity. And you know what? Again, very fortunate to have a customer base who are influential people who, with all of the registrations on our platform and everything, can reach, billions of people. So for us, it made a lot of sense. So, I think Regulation A+ really is meant for trying to convert your customer base into your investor base. And so that's what we're really, seeking to try and do, is build a platform, by creators, for creators, owned by creators. There's an experience that Chad, my co-founding partner, often talks about, where he was at a particular multi-channel network, and there were a content creator walked up to him, and this multi-channel network had just been acquired by a big entertainment company, and the content creator had actually helped to promote the multi-channel network and the brand and had provided that type of service. And so when the company was acquired, he walked up to Chad and he goes, "Chad, isn't this great that the company just got bought?" And Chad was like, yeah, that's great. And he goes, "Well, how much do you think I'm going to get?" And Chad said, "Well, how much equity do you have?" And he said, "What's equity?" So those are the types of experiences that are really kind of fueling the passion that we have for allowing the creator community to invest and to own a piece of what we started with Social Bluebook. This is really founded and backed by a real and strong cause. We chose Regulation A+ because we wanted to, as filed in our offering circular, we want to raise up to $12 million. So we wanted access to capital that will allow us to do a lot of the things that we feel like are important to take this company to the next level. And Regulation CF, we just didn't feel like provided the necessary capital to help us do that. So just talking about the journey of getting qualified, it was about a 10-month process from when we started in May of last year to when we actually got qualified March 17th. I think there hasn't been a ton of success in stories and case studies and things that were there for us to draw from. We did our very best to kind of put together our budget projections and map this thing out. And particularly when we started in May, there was even far less success stories. But we did our very best, and I would say from the learning experience, this was not a cheap, easy, or quick process. And I think that just like building a company, if you're going to go down this route of Regulation A+, really it's the passion that at the end of the day is going to get you through and get you to the finish line and get you qualified and raising capital. So that's just one thing that I found in our personal experience at Social Bluebook. I would say one thing that was interesting too that I want to bring up is we initially kind of filed as a tier 1 and didn't have much success. Realized that kind of the state coordinated review that we thought was in place wasn't maybe as coordinated as we had hoped it would be. There was a state that we were trying to get qualified in to sell securities there, and they were asking us, well, how much do you anticipate selling? I don't know. I have no idea how many shares we're going to sell in your state. I have no idea how much to pay right now. And so we wasted about 6 weeks trying to go down that path and realized that tier 2 really was the correct route, getting this thing qualified at the federal level. So that's the route that we chose to go down. I think one of the things we're really, as we've now rolled out our strategy, rolled out the offering, we've really had to focus on the marketing strategy. The marketing strategy is hugely important, and for us, it was about putting together all different kinds of tactics for how we could go after and get the word out to the crowd. I think in working with Darren and the CrowdFundX team, we've got many. It's kind of like a salad. You're going to have many different toppings, to put on the salad, and hopefully you've got all the right toppings so that you've got a great salad at the end of the day. But so for us, we've got our email list, which was huge, right? Again, I wouldn't advise anyone going down the path of Regulation A+ unless you've got a substantial email list and customer list that you can draw upon. So we actually we've got about 30. So per our filing that we did in June of 2016, June of last year, we had 33,000 registered social media platforms. We've since grown, but of course we'll talk about it in future reporting, all that kind of stuff. So we had that to work with. Facebook media buys is a huge angle. One for us that hits right home is we'd like for the influencers, particularly the ones who have already invested, to talk about our offering and actually promote our offering, to do influencer marketing about our offering. So that was one angle that we felt like we could bring to the table. Honestly, at the end of the day, really, we felt like if any company should be able to do this successfully, it should be a social media influencer company, right? So that's really kind of the way that we were thinking about it. And then we've got some other things we're doing. But the point is we want to try and get as many of these different angles for marketing as we possibly can. And then one thing that I've kind of noticed as kind of the guy manning the fort, we created an invest@socialbluebook.com email just to kind of field all of the different investment questions and things that come in. You're going to get all kinds of questions about, so what is this again? Like you send people emails, and so this is an investment? Like, do I get a reward for this? Like, what is this, right? Like, I think there were quite a few people in our email list that didn't quite understand what it is that we were trying to do, because again, this is all very new and very much kind of uncharted waters. And so what I'm hoping that we can accomplish with our offering and with other offerings that are going on right now, Legion M did a presentation this morning, is that we can educate the public particularly the unaccredited base, as to what this equity crowdfunding thing is, and that they now have an opportunity to get involved with an early stage tech company like Social Bluebook, because they haven't really had that opportunity, in the past. And so, I just think that anybody looking to do an offering like this just kind of has to understand, hey, you're going to have to kind of put on your teacher hat and help to educate the public. That's all part of this process. So why don't we jump to the traction thus far. You can see our amount that we've funded to date. We went live April 11th. One thing that I do have to disclose, again, this is for you, Mark, is that $1,078,000 of the total funds raised actually come from convertible promissory notes that have actually converted into the offering, many of which were from content creators. So, with that and the fresh capital that's come in, that represents the number that you see up on the screen today. But we're very excited about the traction that we've had this far. We're very excited about the opportunity to follow our passion, follow our dream of being able to put this offering out to the unaccredited base, right? Content creators and the fans of the content creators, right? I mean, they now can invest right alongside their favorite content creator. So I think what we're doing is just very special, and really looking forward to the coming months and gaining even further traction with the Social Bluebook Reg A Plus offering. And if you're interested in checking out more, we chose to do a white label site. So if you just go to invest.socialbluebook.com, you can learn all about the offering and what we're up to. But with that, I think, could we open it up for some questions? I just really nailed it, I guess. Yeah. Everybody's on the website. That's great. We can implement.
How many investors for that figure?
So, I mean, if you take into account the promissory notes, there's probably roughly 80 to 90.
Okay. You mind my asking the biggest promissory note? What's the range of sizes of the notes?
The largest, I think, is for $350,000. The lowest was $10,000.
Question. It sounds like you're the only person in that space. Is there another company, public or private, kind of in the same model as yours, using the influencers?
So there is a publicly traded company called IZEA.
Okay.
It's actually listed in our offering circular. We talk about them, but they have a similar platform. I mean, there's no one that we've come across that is doing the social media valuations like we are, providing for content creators, and then from that we've been able to launch our marketplace platform. So I do feel like we are differentiated and very unique in that respect. IZEA is probably the one that comes to mind that's publicly traded. Yeah.
What's their market cap, do you know? And how long have they been public?
Gosh, you know what? The last time I looked, I think it was 40 million, but it's been some time since then.
Going once, going twice. Oh.
My question is, how do you control the focus or value of the products that are being created by your clients or your customers?
I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing.
You can't hear me? So my question is, how do you make sure that everything that's produced by your customers is you actually believe in? Because so far I didn't see you created a sort of vision, or like, these are our values, this is what we're trying to just to give people a guideline of like what things that you focus on, or like do you just welcome everything? And that way you have a sort of belief in everything that you're helping people produce.
Well, we've gotten questions all along since we started the company of, do you guys have a limit for the size of the content creator that you allow in to use your platform? Because there's some competitive platforms that are like, hey, you have to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, otherwise you can't participate and be a part of our company. Our standpoint has always been that the small creators of today are the big creators of tomorrow, the big influencers of tomorrow. And let's face it, this space is only getting bigger and bigger. If you go to an event like a VidCon, where you just get mobbed by all the fans of these big YouTubers, and they start to copycat and mimic the YouTubers. They start to record themselves and they start to make their own YouTube videos. And so it's an ever-expanding pool of influencers and people who, that's the great thing about the internet, it gives everybody a voice, right? It's really incredible. But for us, there's no limit for the size of the influencer. Anybody can come in and get a valuation price. So let's say you've got 20 followers on Twitter. You can go on and see what your value is based on your reach and your audience engagement.
Yeah, question. So just breaking out the numbers a little bit, you said, was it 1,100, 1.1 million already from existing convertible notes? Is that right?
It was 1,078,000.
All right, so the remainder is new money that's come in since you went
net
live.
New proceeds.
And then had that come from your existing database, or is it coming from elsewhere outside of that?
Yeah, well, what we decided to do actually was we initially wanted to open a kind of a very private 7-day window to the content creators before this thing goes out to the general public. Now, it's not to say that if somebody from the general public kind of invested during that time frame that we were going to, because the offering's open to all people, but from a marketing perspective, we sent emails out to the content creators and said, hey, now's the time for, now's an opportunity for you to invest and have ownership in this company, Social Bluebook, with us.
Yeah, and then the follow-on question was, in the questions that you've had from your influencers, how have you addressed those issues, or what investing is, and how have you gotten them comfortable around actually coming on board? So you mentioned you're getting a lot of feedback where you're having to actually explain it to them, what they're doing. I'm curious how you've gotten around that and educated them on it.
Yeah, well, I always put my disclosures in, Mark. Okay. That's for you. So I certainly always do that. I think a lot of the questions are, people, I guess, generally kind of understand the word invest, but lots of times they won't click the button that then takes them to the page, which then answers all the questions that they were going to ask, right? Or that they do ask. So we get a lot of questions around, how much is the price per share? What's the minimum investment? How long do I have to invest? So that's why we put quite a bit of effort into just the FAQ section on the page, to answer all those things. But that's, for the most part, that's what a lot of the questions revolve around.
Oh, not good. Last one. So procedural question. Took a look at the website. Looks like it's a white label of the crowd engine. Doesn't look like it's got a broker-dealer involved. Correct me if I'm making any misinterpretations.
That's correct.
And given that, I'm curious about your experience as an issuer registering to sell securities in the various states, particularly the 7 or 8 states that require you as an issuer, even under Tier 2, to still register as a securities salesperson in that state and the offering itself. Part 2 of the question is, and how are the shares going to be held? Transfer agent, issuer, book entry, whatever that may be.
Yeah, so we have, and again, probably the Securities Council, they're probably the best suited to answer some of these questions. I've gone through the process and filled out some of those forms with them for those specific states that we're talking about. So that's kind of the process that we followed up to this point. I think we wanted to kind of see how the offering was going to take off and where we were actually going to be receiving money from, and kind of figure out what where best to spend our time in filling out forms and sending money and all that kind of stuff. So we actually are using on our back end Fund America. So we have the transfer agent software that they provide with that. Thank you.